So my name is Algie Creer. I'm originally from San Bernardino, California, and right now I reside in San Diego, California.
You grew up in San Bernardino?
Grew up in San Bernardino all my life. I've been in San Diego for a little bit, like about almost 4 years. Almost 4 years. So for 36 years, I lived in San Bernardino. Yeah, San Bernardino does have a reputation, and just growing up there in the 80s and the 90s, it was real rough, very rough. San Bernardino it's a good city, but it is, sadly plagued by gangs, drugs, violence. That is pretty much the tone of the city. And even recently, the city has, filed for bankruptcy a couple of times, I believe. So San Bernardino has been through it's been through a rough time. And that's the life I live. That's where I'm from. Growing up in San Bernardino, I think one of the first things you learn is respect. Just because the simple fact is that it's not a really big city, so everybody, kind of knows everybody in a sense. Everybody is in some way, some fashion connected, whether you played sports together, you went to school together, you work together, your families married each other. So, even though, it's so close, the one thing you do learn is respect, because, you're around each other all the time.
What kind of aspirations did you have growing up in San Bernardino? What did you want to do?
Yeah, so as a kid, man, I always thought I would play pro football. Right? I started playing football actually when I was about 9 years old, and previous to that, I actually took karate. And I was in a taekwondo class, and I was approached. My first football coach, I met him walking to the store, and he asked me, "Hey, do you play football?" I told him, "No, I don't play." And he said, "Well, have your parents or whoever bring you down here to 14th Street Park." And so I told my grandfather, and he took me. And so I started going to football practice. But then it was kind of a struggle, because I was still doing karate, but then I would have football practice the same day. So sometimes I would get to football practice late. So the coach was like, "Hey, if you're gonna play, you got to choose. Either you're gonna play football or you're gonna do that." So I ended up choosing football, and for the rest of my life, pretty much, I played football, all through elementary, junior high, high school, and a little bit of college football as well. So that was my aspiration. I wanted to one day play in the NFL.
Gotcha. College ball. Where did you go to college?
So I played a year of college, junior college football at San Bernardino Valley College, and then I transferred to a school in Minnesota. Fortunately, I ended up staying, but yeah, I did transfer to a school in Minnesota on a football scholarship, but things didn't work out.
Yeah.
Career-wise now, I'm actually a barber. I'm actually a barber. I've been a barber for about 10 years. And it's a good thing, man. I love it. I love it because I'm a people person. I'm a people person, so I like to talk with people and connect with people. So being a barber, man, allows me to be able to, meet all types of people. You never know who you meet in the barbershop.
How'd you get into that career? What made you go from football to barber? So
it was kind of crazy how I even got into barbering. When I was younger, I would mess around a little bit. I remember my dad even brought me some clippers, and I would cut my cousin's hair and, a couple people in the family. But then, it was never really, never really took it serious. And so, after football, of course, you come home, you get a job, and I was actually a lead at a warehouse, and I ended up losing my job. So, I was, kind of here and there looking for jobs. And actually, one of the guys that went to my church, he was a barber. He was a barber, and he worked in the shop. And so, he saw my sons one day, and he's like, "Hey, who cut your kids' hair?" And I was like, "I cut their hair."
You mentioned you had a friend in church who was a barber.
Uh-huh.
How did you first step into the church? Did you get invited?
Yeah, I got invited.
Who'd you get invited by?
I got my wife, girlfriend at the time. She invited me to church. So it's kind of funny, man. She was actually not going to church at the time, but she was living with her mom. So of course, mom's like, "You live with me, you got to go to church." So she would go to church every Sunday. So she's like, "Hey, do you want to go to church with me?" So of course I'm like, "Yeah, I'll go." So I would go, not just just to go. Like I say, like when I was a kid, I would go to church, but it really wasn't nothing. I went because I lived with my grandfather, so I did the whole Sunday school and stuff like that. So I would go, we would sit in the back, listen to the sermon after church was, and we leave, and life back to whatever. And so, but eventually, I don't know, I guess I just started hearing the messages, and every time I would go, I was like, man, it seems like he's talking about what I'm going through, or he's speaking about exactly what's happening like in my life. And so it kind of caught my attention, So little by little, I just, every Sunday we would go, get involved, and yeah, man. So I I got reached by an invite. By invite just by my wife. Invite me to church at the time.
Tell me a little bit about your family.
So, man, I love my family, man. I've been married 15 years. My wife's name is Monique, and we've been married 15 years. We've been together about 18 years, almost 19. And we were kids when we met. And we're a very tight knit family, man. We try to do everything. We laugh together. We cry together. I feel that's what being a family is about. Is building that community within being in your own family. I think sometimes people, just expect certain things. Because you have families like, well, this is just natural. This has to be, but you have to work on it. You have to build and create the family environment that you're actually like looking for. And so with us, man, that's what we do, man. We go places together, vacations. We go to water parks. They're bigger now. They're like I said, they don't want to hang out with dad no more. They're too cool. but we made it a point to make sure that we were intentional in doing that with our kids.
And you have how many kids?
Three
Three
boys. Yeah,
3 boys.
19, 18, and 15.
Wow.
Yeah, men. They're like men now, man.
How did the call to pastoralship come to you?
So, it's kind of crazy. I would say maybe about being saved for about a year. You start to kind of like, sense that God wants to do more in your life. And it's crazy just by being confirmed by people that I didn't really know me. They would just say, hey, one day God's going to, you're going to be a pastor. I'm like, okay. You don't really take it serious because you don't really know. You don't really know what they're talking about. But in the time, God was using them. God was kind of using them to speak something into your life. And so little by little, you kind of started to feel like, man, maybe God does have more for my life. And so eventually, yeah, that's what it developed into. So I've been a pastor licensed pastor for 6 years already. No, yeah, 6 years already. 6 years already. Yeah, got licensed in 2014.
Killing the game in Jesus' name.
Oh no.
What comes to mind when you hear that brand?
Man, that brand to me is like it's a brand, and it's a way that they're connecting in unconventional ways. I guess if you could say it that way. From the basketball tournaments to being at skate parks to setting up pop-up booths on the Broadway at the beach. To me, it's an unconventional way, but it's a very effective way. It's a new way. It's a new way of doing things, and I'm excited, man, to even see what God was going to do with it. I know I see the vision that it's constantly evolving. I think maybe it may have started small and really, when they started, they may not know how big it was going to get. But I do see the platform continue to expand and God using it in a powerful way.
You participate in some of the events, right?
Yeah. Yeah, actually, we've been to a couple of the basketball tournaments. We were able to go and take our barber truck. We have a mobile barber truck here at the shop, and we've been able to go and cut hair and connect with the people. It's kind of give back, a way to give back. That's really another thing that that Killing the Game does. It's a way to give back into the community. A lot of times people will come in, they'll do something, but then that's it. There's kind of no more connection. Through this, they're still able to stay connected. Remember, like, hey man, remember that basketball tournament? And they have an outlet, they have an extension, somebody that they can reach out to. So it's been a blessing to be a part of that. Be able just to go and just offer services. Man, everybody needs a haircut. Everybody loves a haircut, right? Yeah, especially a free one.
Yeah, especially a free one. But you guys have done multiple community outreaches, right?
Yeah.
You as your barbershop,
Yeah.
right? I know I've seen your truck at
Yeah.
several events.
Yeah.
Tell us a little about that.
So we partnered with this organization a couple of times. We've done them on our own, where we just kind of go and set up. But we've also partnered with One San Diego, and they would have these block parties. So we've been in the Southeast at a couple of schools. We've even went to a school in Mira Mesa, set up and did free haircuts there. And so we have some more stuff planned. We do have some more stuff planned, because that's our barbershop. We always wanted to stay connected to the community. I think that's very key for us, to let the community know that, hey, we're not just here to cut your hair, but we're also here to be a part of the community and give back in any way we can. And with being able to have that mobile barber truck, we're able to be, go to different events, whether it be a basketball tournament, whether it be a block party, stuff like that. Even stuff with the police department, or with the probation department. We were able to go and set up and give out haircuts. Even too with the homeless, with the homeless, we partner with that, to be able to give back to that as well. So to me, it's like that's what everything I do is about serving. It's about serving, giving back. San Bernardino, it's a community that when I was a kid, you really didn't see too much of that. So here in San Diego, I had to make sure that when I had the opportunity, I'm able to do it, and be effective in doing it.
How do you constantly keep that hunger to, I guess, continue in the roles and to continue to father with all you got, pastor with all you got, and be around this environment all the time?
I think for me, just is to remember your why. Why you're doing it. Who you're doing it for, and the impact that it makes. I always think back to the scripture where in John 13, where Jesus he washed the feet of the disciples, and he told them, he says, "What I'm doing for you now, like, you're not gonna understand it, but you'll understand it later. It'll come back to you." And so I always look back to that as that, man, like, what we do now, people may not understand it, but eventually they'll understand it later, and it will make an impact within their life. And so for me, that's what giving back is, being a servant, is all about. Like you say, like, in all those roles, I have to give of myself. Like, I can't, like, to me, it's like I came to a point where I was like, it's not about me. It's not about me. I can't be selfish. Sometimes people say, no, you got to be selfish sometimes, but really you can't, because the minute you start being selfish is the minute you're gonna lose it. The minute you're gonna get stuck in that way. So for me, it's like, is that I can't allow myself, to get selfish. I got to keep giving. I have to keep serving. I have to keep loving. Even if I'm tired, even if I don't want to do it at times, right? Even if I don't feel like doing it, like, I have to keep doing it because Jesus did. I'm sure Jesus, got tired. I'm sure Jesus maybe was like, man, when are people going to serve me, or when am I going to get, served? But he's like, no, he knew his purpose. He knew his why. He remembered his why. And so that's what me, I have to remember my why, why I'm doing it, and the impact that it's going to leave on every person that I come into contact with. You have to value yourself. You have to be willing to invest in yourself, because I look at it like this: if I'm not at my best, then I can't give out my best. I'm going to give out subpar, I'm going to be lackluster. But when I know that I'm, purposely, intentionally, trying to make myself the best version of myself that I can be, whether it be the best father I can be, the best husband, the best pastor I can be, the best barber I can be, the best friend, whatever role you're in, if you're striving to be the best you, then you're going to constantly want to give out the best to other people. And I think people deserve that. I think people deserve to get our best.